Hello everyone, today I want to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum and if they're going to set new all-time highs or if we're going down lower. This will all be based on price action, so no crazy patterns or crazy indicators. So yeah, let's get right into it. Now if we go to the weekly, yes, this is through the years, but if we just focus on these last parts, we can see that this drop off at around 94.3k was our last drop off on the weekly time frame, which is a resistance, which means it's a level to break. A long time ago, I drew these boxes, which basically mean this is a range and this top range. Now on the weekly it looks a bit weird because of all the wicks, but yeah. Anyways, this big drop off, we have touched that level. Yesterday, before it even reached that level, I said we're probably going to see 94k because of this drop off. If we go to the daily, you can see more clear what I'm talking about. It's actually a tiny bit higher technically if you look on the daily, more like 96k. So it's still possible that we will go there because this peak that we did touch was not a very strong one. And what I mean by that is that we went down directly the day after. And this was around all the tariff stuff, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so we're challenging this one. And right above it is the real resistance drop off, I guess, in this area. But this is looking good. And what I mean by that is the following. So basically what we saw is drop off. We try to gain it, we fail, we go down. We have a lower low, and then we try to go up. We have a lower high, then we went down, we have a lower low. And now we have beaten this high, this local one too, I guess. And now we've challenged this. Now it is still possible that we're going to challenge around here, somewhere in this area, and then try to make a higher low. Now the higher low technically could be anywhere above this low, but I'd like to see something more around here before that big move up around there. Now let's zoom in more to the hourly candlesticks. Okay, so if we just grab the volume of money for this whole area, most of it is right here, which again is good for what I want to see. This would be our low to hold instead of all the way down here. And you can also see there's not much in this area. That's also partly because only this tiny bit and then this last part has been here. Don't be fooled too much. If I drag it more here, you'll see more volume. Anyhow, the point is a lot of support resistance buildup has been in this region, which makes sense because we had this drop off. We rejected it right there, and then we gained it, and then we basically, if you pull this through, you went above it and you stayed above it, resistance turns into support, boom, we went up. Now the move up is kind of news related because I know there was something with the new like chairman or something instead of Powell, this new dude. Anyhow, it doesn't matter because price action is price action, and we don't trade on news because then you'll be too late. Now, how could you have profited from this? Basically, this was resistance. We broke above it. We held this low. We had a higher high. It was a bit meh. And also this was a local resistance, so it was kind of scary. But you basically would have entered your trade around there. Maybe had your stop loss there. It's a big stop loss though, 1.6. Let's just say 1%-ish. And then this resistance would have been your take profit. So 4% profit. Now, if you didn't have a take profit and you just move your stop loss up and up and up, obviously you would have had a 12% gain right now. It's not really how I trade, although it's not a horrible trading strategy as long as your stop loss is in the correct place. Anyhow, now the question becomes what's next? Because as I said before, this and this peak and even these have been gained. Also, it's fun to see this drop off was also at the top of here. Anyways, what matters now on the downside, let's say if we go down, you see some red candles here and there, and you'll see that there's money at those points. So let me show you. Okay, so here's some interaction. Here's some interaction here as well. Now there's some peaks here and here. You have to zoom in for those. But on the hourly, basically, these are kind of one big point of very aggressive lower high. But I think this is more of a logical spot, not just because the peak volume is here, just because this has turned into like a mini range and then we broke out of it. So this would be great to test back on at around 88k to 86.8k. Now for the upside, if we just look where we are and then go to where we were at the same price. We obviously are trying to beat this high. If we do, we are going to test this drop off at 95.8K. And basically, if you're above that, we're kind of already trying to get into this range. I'm pretty certain we will see around 102K or even the top of the range, which is 109K, which will probably mean a new all-time high because let's be honest, if we go up to, let's say, 103K, people will see like, oh, we're not in a bear market yet, we're not in a downtrend yet, let's buy because it's going up. You know what I mean? Like, people get attracted by seeing green numbers going up instead of knowing that they should buy when the price is low. Okay, so these are basically the scenarios for Bitcoin right now. If we go down, it will be fine if we touch 85K and bounce back up again. The strongest would be if we would go up a little bit further to, let's say, 89.5K, and then we test back somewhere at 88K. That would be even more bullish, as they say, which is good for the uptrend because we are slowing down the downtrend and now we're going up. So we're hoping to do something like that or even higher, of course. So this is very significant because we had lower lows, lower highs, and now we're making a higher high. And then we should make a higher low, and then we just climb up those stairs back up to the all-time high. Hopefully, of course. If some crazy news comes out, you don't know, but it is very likely. Now, Ethereum, let me just clear all of this. Ethereum is a thing of its own. If we look at the weekly chart, this is through the years. Ethereum didn't make a new all-time high. Now, 2021 was the year of Ethereum with like NFTs. Crypto mining was a thing still. Stuff like that. And now coins like Solana are kind of trying to steal the podium. I personally find it very interesting to buy Ethereum, and I do still have Ethereum because we are at this start of the last bull market impulse and we didn't lose it. So now you're actually at a really good position. If we go to the last high, you're up 126%. Now for the all-time high, that's 170%. Now if we go lower, you could lose 50%. So keep that in mind, but it's way smarter to buy here than to buy up here. Not financial advice, just saying, but I personally hold Ethereum as well. I still believe in it. But yeah, let's look at the 4-hour chart because here is where it gets interesting. Now, for the longest time, we've had this crazy downtrend. I didn't really short Ethereum because I mainly focus on Bitcoin trading, but maybe I should have because this was just a giant downtrend. So you might be thinking, what's different? Because here we had our last high and we broke above it, yet we still dumped below it and went further down. Now this one, I agree. I thought we would test back here. This one, you didn't really gain anything. So this is just like for the rest, this is all pretty clean price action. Just this part was weird at the start. But for the rest, you're making lower lows, lower highs. But yeah, so the question now, what is different? Now we've had our lowest low here. Then we have a higher high, a higher low. We were kind of in a compression here. Then people didn't really know what to do. And now we bounce back up to this last resistance, which is our drop off. Now we are basically there right now. So here was support, support, and now it became resistance. So what I'm hoping to see is in the most bullish way, we can bounce off of these tops of the compression, which is also this little red node somewhere around there, or at least stay above this low around here. And then obviously we want to go up higher, which would be there for this drop off. And then basically we climb up the drop off staircase, and then you would basically use this as support. And then you got to see where obviously you're gonna short temporarily, because all of these resistance points can be turned into support. This one especially is interesting because this is like an actual range. So when you get into this range, you could expect, which is actually funny because it correlates with this level here as well. This could be your next like support to go all the way up there. And then obviously you keep doing this. Obviously it won't go as fast as this probably, although you never know. And yeah, hopefully setting a, well, maybe not a new all-time high, but basically create an uptrend for Ethereum because it hasn't had it in a long time. Let's see. From here, which is 17th of December of 2024, 127 days-ish, which is crazy. I basically buy when the price drops hard and sell when the price goes up pretty hard, which is called spot trading. So you don't have a stop loss. It's kind of investing, but you're also swing trading. So like the bigger moves, like here you would buy, here you would sell, here you would buy, here you would sell, here you would buy a lot, here you would sell one, here you would buy again, here you will sell one, here you will buy again, you sell one. You buy, you sell, you buy, you sell. That's basically what I do. I kind of keep a round number in dollars or euros. And if it goes down 10%, I buy 10%. If it goes up 20%, I sell 20%. That's basically how I kind of equal out my buying and selling price on the way down as well as on the way up. So if you guys want more on my strategy and how I've earned 50% profit in a couple of years, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is basically my Bitcoin and Ethereum future possibilities, price predictions, if you will. Obviously, if Ethereum loses this, we go lower, and if we lose this, we go even lower, but I believe. Anyways, that's it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, check out the Discord where I share charts and other news here and there about stocks, crypto, etc. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye.